So, uh, so going back to the video, I'm discussing, that like, the safety quantity, like you can quantify safety. It's statistically impossible for me to get randomly attacked again. Um, I, uh, as well as, as well as uh, I mean, yeah, we can have like a 24/7, 365 surveillance society. Like, I don't know, I think we already do. I don't endorse or condemn that, but I don't like you can already have that. It doesn't really change anything. Um, but it's just do you have to put caution tape on everything and safety tape and um use highlighters and put everything in like bubble wrap because because it's just so unsafe and someone's gonna bring a sharp object and you can't predict the human behavior and it's like Trevor Phillips from like Grand Theft Auto. They're like, this person's a liability because you can't control them. And so because I can't predict that, um it's like we're gonna use like safety tape and precautionary measures. And so no, like I'm just being 100% honest. Like when I make the video here, that like what are you gonna do? Like we're gonna microchip people. We're gonna I don't know, because it seems like everything that like human beings do are wrong. It seems like I mean, no, it seems like like my mom used to judge me for like the sock or the beard, or she's like, oh, you're picking your nose, or you're sitting like this, or why are your hands like crossed, or why are your legs crossed, or why are you shaking your feet, or like why are toes curled, why why are you sitting cross-legged, can you sit with your posture. So I know these are things I know these are things that she wanted to correct it for me, but you know again, like the truth is of the matter is just this, uh you know like uh I mean, that's the truth of the matter. um like also wanted to mention, it's like, how do you want people to think, act, and behave? Because I mean, I'm actually curious how people would, because it seems as though there's this and the other, and then the person gets judged, and then they feel upset, and then and it takes nothing to piss people off. Again, like I already said, it could be that bird flying in the face. It could be unexpected weather. It could be just someone's like the way they look, and actually uh you can tell a person, like the emotions that a person has is very visible on their face. If they have a lot of wrinkles, we know they're stressed. If they look angry, they're probably angry all the time. I think this is all kind of common sense, that I don't really need to refer to. But like for me, i'd go back to uh I'd go back to phase one. um you know Again, um no, I'd be going back to phase one. Uh, like, I'd be going back to phase one uh, with, phase one where, uh, like, again, like if you could control human behavior, um, um, and then again, if the person doesn't listen or respect you, that's that. I mean, even when you quantify the human behavior, like how often and how much they do something or they don't do something. I just think it's all like a part of like a thing. Um, it's part of the truth. Like I struggle to wake up every day, and you know, um, like, like I'm mentioning this because, like, like it's just like no, but like, no, seriously, like it's like this stuff's pretty messed up. The things happening in the year 2026, um, you know, like uh, no, but like at the end of the day, like, at the end of the day, like, uh, I don't control human behavior, and if you wanted like a predictable person, like I don't know, like what kind of person you'd want. Maybe you'd want like a material object, which I guess is why people, go on to buy things and all that, because it's like, no. So like I said, the reason people sold themselves out to Moloch, materialism, capitalism, obviously it's for one, because people can't interact with other human beings. I think we, like, even like, especially in the year 2026, we've lost our ability to interact with each other. One guy once said that manners are a lost art. But like, honestly, like, and just like in the days of the Hebrews, when people were sacrificing the Moloch, it's the same thing. But like, ultimately, like, ultimately, uh, what's it called? Ultimately, I only sit here to say the truth. Everything that's the truth and nothing but the truth. The guy's name, what's it called? The year ended, the world ended in 2012, and the thing is just after that point, like the moment you say any word, especially in English, you're only digging your own grave. Like there's nothing you can say or do in 2026 that would reverse whatever has happened in the past. Like I try using this app, and I try using YouTube, and I record these videos because it's the least that I can do. I don't get paid. I probably should, because I think I have a lot of wisdom to share. I'm not trying to boast and be proud there. I'm not trying to, like, tell people, like, what to think and all this. But this is all from observation. And like existing, especially in Canada, which is where I'm at. Where like the whole, like, it's like the person is doing too much, or they're doing too little. I just don't know what other people would want at that point. And then, and I'm kind of speechless. Um, and They keep sending these people after me, like these mentally deranged. They keep trying to fight me. They keep on sending me these people, and I kind of know why. I'm not gonna say the reason here, because it's a very, very grotesque reason. And it's pretty sad, honestly. Uh, and there's the reason why, like, certain things are shielded from the naked eye. No, I think if like, honestly, like, I ponder this, like, what's the point of me waking up, and especially if I'm getting a diploma or a degree that somebody else had gotten. So all I'm doing is just being a crutch or a burden to that person, because they already did the hard work. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, a person can be naive or ignorantly bliss, and then, I don't know, I guess the knowledge or the information about the world, the coping kind of ends. The person gets hit with some hard facts about reality. One second, I'm gonna get through here. And person gets hit with some hard facts about reality, and then fundamentally shifts forever. Okay, I'm moving through. So, one event, one thing, one trauma, one struggle, and a person's life changes forever. It honestly could be even one comment. It doesn't need to be like even the look. The person looks at you, you're afraid, and then you have the bed sheet on. But like, no, I'm like, everybody's gonna be looking for someone to blame. And I already made the video where I purportedly explained that I'm not the one responsible for the downfall. I'm sure there's people who would love to talk to me about this stuff, and again, nobody has confronted me. And I don't control behavior. I don't control society. Tough conversations to have. um, but also you realize in one moment how fragile your life is. It could be celiac disease, it could be diabetes, it could be poliosis. You don't even know, tuberculosis. So like, I don't take any day for granted. However, like, you know, money and conflict and racial issues, and the racial issue thing is huge because people think you can just like sure, we can like live in a mouse utopia, like literally, like in terms of that the mouse project that the guy Waterfall Tis was talking about, but also like in a sense that like where we don't talk, we don't talk about our issues. It's like a mouse, quiet like a mouse, and that's fine. Like you could, like every building can look the same, like communist Russia, and like every building looks the same. There's like a a unified identity, but it's gonna probably backfire, because it's gonna backfire because uh it's not how that's not how it is. It's not how it works. And again, this is sensitive information. Nobody knows who I am for a reason. I don't show my face anymore. um uh you know it's unfortunate and it sucks. Like I didn't think things would come to this. uh I, like many people, again, are responsible for the downfall of the country. um and everything has to be done manually, so I have to manually pull out this phone and manually explain myself. um uh I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm sure there's some people who like their biases will root for me, others wouldn't. But then again, you're better off being born like a boy of silence from BioShock Infinite, where you can't hear, see, or taste anything. Like everything about the physical world is corrupted. So you wouldn't, other than the one purpose, whether it's plumbing, they need a plumber. The plumber spawns in, he fixes the pipe, and then poofs off. That would make the most sense. I definitely feel like you know um like, I don't know, I definitely don't have a lot of hierarchy, don't have a lot of say. I don't have a lot of, like, I don't feel the same like others. Sometimes it doesn't really feel like I exist, but I'm okay with that because, like, the existence is a burden, and the burden might come onto me because people are looking for someone to blame. And the moment there's someone alive talking, I already said that people are going to come and looking for them. Like, they're going to come looking for them because there's a because there's a human being alive talking. And again, that goes to the racial issues authentically, like how people feel. They're very frustrated, and they're looking for someone to blame, right? And obviously, like, I mean, obviously people will have to make their own decisions. You know um uh you know I mean, that's why I use the social media, because I don't want, like, I don't want to tell this to publicly people, like, because there's gonna be controversy. Every word has a controversy behind it, because every word of English was founded on conflict. One second, I'm gonna fucking take a turn here. So purportedly, like, you know, I mean, like I said, like, not chewing with your mouth full, saying please and thank you. But then I turned doing these things down. Like, I decided, manners aren't worth it. It's too much information. It's way too difficult to keep this information. Like, I don't, like, I personally don't endorse that kind of information. That's like, um, like, I don't endorse that. I don't endorse, that type of information with the uh, uh, I don't endorse that type of information where, like, they, where the fuck can I go? There's no people. That's a nice car. Okay. So no, I don't endorse that type of information with, no, I don't endorse that type of information. Like, I don't endorse that type of information with the fucking, like, like, all, like the bureaucracy, the information, like, overloading people with information. And because I'm already overwhelmed with problems, like again, like, it's one little paper cut, one paper cut infection, a dog bite, hell, getting rabies from the raccoon. It could be any of that stuff. And you could, you could die. And so, um and one wrong look at a person, one wrong stare, like I was looking at the car, you don't know, right? Because at this point you don't know. You can't trust other people, you can't trust anything, you shouldn't trust anybody in anything. I don't trust a tree, the branch will fall. You don't trust, and you shouldn't trust. And it's helped me very well throughout my life. Like, somehow, for some reason, everything hits the fan. Worst case scenario plays out. I mean, again, like with a shit ton of people, like I said, it's like an overloaded server. Like you get you get what you get. um like, um and I'm gonna use an allegory of like a guy I once knew. Like, he when he was a child, they used him, like, because of the criminal system here in Canada, they used him as a scapegoat because he was a minor. They used him as a scapegoat to get away with the crime. But at this point, 2026, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because it doesn't even matter because, like, in 2026, at this point, it doesn't even matter because it's like because like I said, in 2012, at some point it was just like, nothing you would say, nothing you would do would save the situation. I mean, even if you were to argue that you wanted to warm the planet using cars, right? That's actually a great idea, right? Because when it's negative 35, like a hotter planet, like, is way better because, like, negative 35 is inappropriate for sleeping outside if you're homeless. And in Canada, it's very easy to become homeless. Again, like, one paper cut, one wrong move, one wrong step, you stretch your leg, whatever it is, and you're out there. Again, I don't think, obviously, like maybe my parents never told me this, but then again, it's because, like, nobody wants more welfare recipients, and it's because, quote, I quote, like, it's like, because, like, the human body isn't built to do what we're demanding it to do from the society. And whether the society thinks everything works and it's just fine as it is, and just don't change anything, and you'd have to override, again, like, pretty much everything in order to get some kind of tangible result. And again, I value my freedom basically, like, to a basic level. I'm not stepping on anybody's property. Next thing they come out, and then they're like, oh, I'm standing my ground, stand your ground. Like, so unfortunately, the truth of the video is that there's no point in being born. I'm sure watch, like, the guy with the born into a corrupt system. Okay, I'm gonna try to. So again, there would be no innocence in this game because it's like, I mean, everything is founded by this chaos and these issues. Man, there's nowhere to fucking go. This chaos and issues. I mean, imagine you're heating a building using 1,000 angry prisoners. I mean, you could do that. Or there was the worst one. There was the one where it's like, I'm not even gonna say the name, but it's. I mean, everybody knew the country was falling apart. That was easy low-hanging fruit. There wasn't. There's nothing you're really preventing. There's nothing you're really saying that's novel, true. And I was in class the other day, and I was telling the guy, it's like, and you wonder why they want to replace us with machines. It's like, again, there's no wisdom. There's nothing you would say. There's nothing that would save not only the previous generations, but the current one. There's nothing. It's a terrible situation here. No, like, there's nothing you would say. Like, again, I regret a lot I take back a lot of the things I say and do. And again, like, as far as what I can contribute to society, or as far as how much I can, like, do in terms of work output and work efficiency, it's not a lot. um it's not a lot, and it's never going to be a lot. And like, it's a horrible situation, because like,